Hey, Retro Community. It's been a while since I had a typical episode, so I figured it was time. Today I'll be going over the Nintendo DS, the original one, that is. I purchased one back in 2006 or so, as I really wanted to play a legitimate 2D Mario game. At the time, 2D Mario hadn't existed, since the SNES-based Super Mario All-Stars were released as individual games on the Game Boy Advance. The closest that existed was Super Paper Mario for the Wii, which I feel gets a bad rap. It's not that bad of a game if you think of it as an RPG platformer as opposed to a traditional RPG, such as all the other Paper Mario games. So anyway, I went to GameStop, picked up a used blue DS along with New Super Mario Bros., and I enjoyed it. A while later, I also picked up the 3D remake of Final Fantasy IV, which originally came out on the SNES as Final Fantasy II here in the US. On top of the improved 3D visuals, it also had full motion video intros and cutscenes. This version also retains the added bonus content in the GBA version of Final Fantasy IV. And more recently, I picked up Mario Kart DS at a garage sale. It didn't work, but after some rigorous cleaning of the contacts, it did. Not bad for $2. The Nintendo DS was originally planned on being a completely separate console from the Game Boy line of handhelds, part of Nintendo's intended third pillar, the GameCube, the GBA, and the DS. They didn't know it would prove to be successful, so they made sure to iterate at every opportunity that it was not replacing the GBA, and continued to release games for the GBA and encourage third parties to do the same. Not that difficult since the idea of the DS was new and there was no guarantee that it would succeed. It began in 2002, with former Nintendo president Hiroshi Yamauchi throwing out the idea of a dual-screen console. So they began development and announced the handheld in 2003. In 2004, a prototype was shown off at E3. Nintendo was concerned about sales, as the GameCube didn't take off as they had hoped. Sales remained kind of meh. If the console didn't succeed, Nintendo would be in trouble, at least that's what Yamauchi thought. They were attempting to draw in new gamers with the idea of dual screens, the bottom one being touchscreen. The DS was first released in North America on November 21st, 2004, which is kind of unusual since most systems were released in Japan first. Japan, by the way, got their release on December 2nd, and Australia got theirs February 25th, 2005, and Europe saw their release on March 11th, also 2005. Nintendo only initially decided to manufacture 1 million total units, but once they saw pre-orders, they had to bring up another production run in order to meet demand. It sold 1 million units in the US alone by December 21st, and by the end of December, total sales had topped 2.8 million. By June the following year, it had reached 6.5 million. Safe to say it was a success. Oh, and there was also a release in China in 2006 under the name iQue DS. Throughout the console's lifetime, multiple colors were released, including red, electric blue, pink, and turquoise, among others. There were also several revisions of the DS, including the DS Lite, the DSi, and the DSi XL, with the latter two being very popular. The DS line also led to the release of the 3DS line, which retains compatibility with most, if not all, previous DS games. And despite Nintendo's insistence that it was not replacing the GBA, due to its sales, it eventually did in 2006. The DS has two cartridge slots, one on top for DS games and one on the bottom for GBA games, which yes, it was compatible with. However, it was not compatible with OG Game Boy games or Game Boy Color games. This is due to lack of the necessary hardware. The console itself took its inspiration from the dual-screen Game & Watch series. Both screens were 3 inches, but the bottom screen included touch support. They both had a resolution of 256 by 192. Nintendo also included a stylus, which fits neatly into the console itself. Screens are both backlit, which in some games can be turned off. GBA games obviously only supported one screen, though you could choose which one you wanted to play on. No touch support was available as well because, well, GBA games didn't support touch. It had 4 face buttons, B, A, X, and Y, along with 2 shoulder buttons, L and R, center directional pad, and start and select. It came with stereo speakers and had a virtual surround sound mode, and also had a headphone jack. It had 2 32-bit ARM-based CPUs, one running at 67 MHz and the other at 33, 4 MB of RAM, 256 KB of flash memory used for saves, Wi-Fi connectivity, although only WEP was supported, and it's pretty much useless nowadays since no one really uses WEP anymore due to its really weak security. It also came with an 850 mAh rechargeable battery, which lasted up to 10 hours. Despite the GBA having so-called 3D games, it was not a true 3D console. The DS, however, was, and had 656 KB of video RAM. It also had a few accessories released for it, including a rumble pack that used a GBA slot, a headset, RAM expansion pack, again using the GBA slot, which enabled the use of a web browser, a USB-based Wi-Fi adapter for your computer that allowed you to share its internet connection with your DS as well as the Wii. It also had an MP3 player available for it, and there was even a version of Guitar Hero released for the DS, along with a guitar grip controller which also used the GBA cartridge slot. You could also play some multiplayer games without needing multiple cartridges using what was called download play. Basically, one person has a copy of the game, and for games that supported it, certain level data would be downloaded to other DS games so that you could all do multiplayer. It was also region-free, except in China, meaning you could buy a game in Japan, play it on your North American DS. And with that, here is my original DS. Well, original for me anyway. Remember, I did purchase it from GameStop used. But I also picked up a few games for it over the years, including New Super Mario Bros., Mario Kart DS, and Final Fantasy IV. Yeah, it's a meager collection, but I do plan on picking up more games, such as Super Mario 64, Retro Game Challenge, and a few others. Sadly, there won't be any disassembly today because everything's working and I don't want to risk breaking anything. I also don't have any mods to install, so it would just be kind of pointless and too much of an unnecessary risk. However, if I ever do decide to do anything in the future, I will post a video of it. And that's all I've got for today. Is there anything that you wanted me to talk about that I didn't cover? Go ahead and leave a comment below. Did I screw anything up? Again, leave a comment below, and we can start a discussion on it. But anyway, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up and feel free to subscribe if you haven't yet. If you didn't like the video, hit the thumbs down, but please leave a comment below so that I can use that to help improve future videos. Thanks all, and I'll catch you later.